This Crestwood Cadet Coach Conversation brought to you by Wilson Custom Tree Service. Justin Denner chatting here before the week one matchup against MFL Marmac. And Coach, you've been at practice for about 3 weeks now. What pleased you the most about your team to this point?
Yeah, I think we've taken some really big steps from day one to now with the improvement of our guys. We have I wouldn't necessarily call it young. We have some inexperience. We graduated a lot of seniors last year, and a lot of them had big roles for us. And we had some guys that were role players last year that are now stepping in to be kind of more of the forefront of guys. And so there's a learning process in there, and seeing the jumps from week one till now has been really good for us, and I'm really excited about that.
Obviously, all eyes are ahead on the 2023 season, but you look back at last year, it was the largest or the longest run your program has ever had in school history, making the quarterfinals for, I believe, only the second time in history. I know it's a new team this year, but are there any characteristics from last year's team that you would like to see carry over and become staples of your program?
Yeah, I think last year's team really took obviously a big step forward for us in our program, both on the field, but off the field too, with how they operated, how they did things, took care of their bodies, took care of themselves throughout the course of the week and the season. And that's something that we've stressed throughout the course of the off season and the preseason here of really when it's time to rest, and when it's time to go, we go. And those types of things. And then you're just continuing to develop, that mental toughness and mental fortitude to handle tough things, and, we discussed as the summer went along that, as good as that group was last year, there was some areas that we need to improve on and attacking those things and getting better at that and so forth there. But, they did a great job laying the foundation. We just have to continue building upon that.
You did get a chance to see somebody besides yourself last Friday night when you faced the Charles City Comets in a scrimmage. What were some of the things you took away from last Friday?
Yeah, it was a great opportunity for us, with Charles City, and good thing, with for them and for us is that we kind of run similar offenses. Coach Mitchell there, the OC is, we talked quite a bit in the offseason about some different things, and so it was really good to see that type of stuff from ourselves as a defense and seeing somebody else run something very similar, and for us to see a little bit of a different defense than what we've been going against is good. And we learned essentially we feel really good about the step we took. It's always, in my opinion, you got the inter squad, regular squad type of scrimmage. Sometimes if you don't have an insanely deep team, it's hard to get a lot of good versus good type action. You can get it a little bit here and there, but not a bunch because you don't want to be breaking down your guys and so forth. And so it was really nice to see, Charles City had some really, really good athletes out on the edge, and to be able to, go against that and, defend those types of things, and then, kind of get the speed of somebody else, was really good for us. And, got out of it healthy, which is, the main thing. And, getting ourselves geared up, ready to go here for a really tough MFL team.
And speaking of health, obviously, it's very hot this week. And I'm guessing as a player or a coach, you probably don't remember a week one that was perhaps this hot in either of your careers. What are some of the things you're doing to adjust to make sure your kids stay healthy and fresh for Friday night, but at the same time, prepare them for a tough opponent?
Yeah, I think I think probably, 13, 14 years ago when I was in college, we played, a week one game at Monmouth where it was 95 degrees on turf. And like, that was brutal, but it was just one day. Like the week leading up to it was perfect. And then the Saturday was just terrible. And then it went back to normal. So the fact we got the whole week of this, is a challenge. It's a challenge for everybody. We adjusted our practices to later, rather than going that 4 o'clock time where we'd be trying to get them prepared for going for after school and going through that type of stuff. We kept it at 6 o'clock, which for us is kind of a normal practice time. But, hopefully get ourselves out of that, kind of direct heat. Going some sessions, going helmets only, going some with, shoulder pads, then going back to only helmets, plenty of water breaks, spraying guys down with water here and there. And, really kind of making sure we just keep it to football, not, talked with our coaching staff of, we're gonna fine tune the techniques, but if we're sitting there trying to get ourselves in better shape this week, that's not going to be a winning business model at all. So it's about fine tuning football, and we've shortened our practices up this week, and try to keep the health obviously is always the number one priority. And so if we're a little bit shorter practice wise so that we're healthy on Friday, I'll take that versus trying to get a full practice in and then being worn down and being tired for a Friday night game that, we're going to need to be full speed at.
And MFL Marmac is your opponent. What made them an attractive opponent for you to request and ultimately get as a non-district opponent?
They're good. I mean, plain simple, they've been, outstanding the last 4 to 5 years. I think, looking back on, Bound, they're like 35-6 or something ridiculous that way, like the last couple, 4 or 5 years. And, quarterfinalists last year, I think the year before that, quarterfinalists as well. We're, one possession away from being in the dome. They were playing the same night we were last year. Coach Anderson's done an outstanding job. And, ultimately I come from the mold of, iron sharpens iron, so we got to play really good teams in our non-district slate. And did that with, Independence and Decorah as well. To get ourselves ready to go for, our district, which is also a meat grinder too, so, they're a great program, something that, ultimately, we're trying to get ourselves to that level, where we're consistently, playoff quarterfinal type team, no matter what we got, who graduated, whatever, and that's, ultimately in order to get to be that, you have to play that and be around that. And so really looking forward to the challenge and, expecting a great football game.
All right, Justin, keep your kids cool this week. Keep them healthy on Friday night. We wish you best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Go Cadets.
This cadet coach conversation with Justin Denner brought to you by Wilson Custom Tree Service.